Okay, a few days ago I bought Sony ZV E10 II, and I want to compare the stabilization of this camera to all other cameras I got. So this is just a simple test. It's aperture priority, so no ND filters. I'm shooting S-Log3 actually, and now I'm comparing this with iPhone 13 mini with the selfie camera. So I don't even know it has stabilization probably, but hard to say which one would be better. I guess the main part of this experiment is just the stabilization. I don't care about anything else, although if there is weird white balance or shit like that, I will pay attention to it. But I'm just shooting aperture priority, auto white balance, and Sony already screams it is overexposed in the sun. So it is f2, Samyang 12mm f2 with autofocus, and I can see it tracks my eye, but it cries that this is overexposed. And actually in S-Log3 I should overexpose, so I guess that would be a mistake if I won't. So I would overexpose, but by 1.7 maybe. Okay, so now it shouldn't cry, and ISO is 800 automatically, or maybe I said it, I don't know. So it is active stabilization, because this is the only stabilization this camera have. So I know I would be beaten hard by the mosquitoes, so give me a like for my dedication. It's hard to say based on what I see, but I think that Sony actually has better stabilization than iPhone. I also have OM-5 and king of stabilization, so Pocket 3. Let's see. Now Sony doesn't cry about being overexposed, so yeah, I can actually turn on the LUT, but not sure it is possible to do it during recording. And I'm not comparing the audio quality of internal mics, because I checked this mic already and it is quite lame, I think. So yeah, iPhone 13 versus Sony ZV E10 II. I mostly wonder if Sony can keep up with OM-5, because OM-5 got quite nice stabilization. I don't have S5 2X anymore, unfortunately, to compare, but OM-5 is quite similar. So yeah, so I guess now we'll switch to OM-5 and see which one of these two is better. Okay, now it is OM-5 versus Sony ZV E10 II, but OM-5 is using only IBIS. I haven't engaged the electronic stabilization, so I wonder if it's better than Sony active stabilization or not. And since it is, I'm not preserving 180-degree rule, then it's easier for Sony stabilization to work correctly, because there won't be any artifacts which sometimes happen to electronic stabilization. So I'm swapping hands, and OM-5 has 9mm Panasonic Leica f1.7 at f1.7, and I can see it loses my face sometimes. So in terms of autofocus, Sony probably is better. And I'm shooting log but I'm not sure which profile, because lock on OM-5 got two different settings. So this is comparison with just IBIS, and it's hard to say without LUT preview how the Sony footage looks like, but maybe I will turn the LUT preview in a second. And I have both cameras mounted on a bracket, so basically they move the same way when I'm walking, and I can see that field of view on OM-5 is much wider, much wider. So that's the pro, but just IBIS might not be enough, and probably the corners are wobbly, so I will turn now the electronic stabilization too and see how this goes. Okay, now I have also electronic stabilization on OM-5, so this IBIS plus electronic stabilization, and on Sony it is just active stabilization. So I wonder which one is better, and I think that OM-5 still got a wider field of view. They are actually without stabilization. They are both 18mm equivalent in full frame terms, and I can see that when I'm in the shadow, the OM-5 is sometimes losing my face. And I got LUT displayed on the Sony. It is just standard Rec 709 LUT, so it doesn't look that bad. And for some reason OM-5 looks much darker. It's weird. No, it's auto ISO, and for some reason it kept going to 800, no idea why. Now it's 400, weird, no idea. And now it's 800, I have no idea why it keeps really high shutter speed while raising ISO to 1000 now. It's really weird. Maybe it's due to electronic stabilization. It need higher shutter speed, hard to say, but it's kind of weird. Now it changed the shutter and the ISO is lower. Really weird. My guess is that OM-5 stabilization would be much better, but maybe I'm wrong. I've seen that ZV E10 II reviewers were just ninja walking when reviewing this, so I'm just walking normally, and it's kinda uneven terrain. I'm in the forest, so I can see that my hand moves and shakes, so I wonder how Sony copes with this. It doesn't look bad on the screen, but sometimes it doesn't look bad on the screen and then it looks terrible on a computer. So yeah, I will now switch to the king of stabilization, so Pocket 3, and see if there is any chance Sony could compete. So let me switch to the last one. Okay, now Sony ZV E10 II versus the king of stabilization. So now I would have the sun behind me a bit, but why not? So I have to check if they are recording in proper frame rate, but looks like yes, and DJI is tracking my face, so I would be probably in the center of the frame, so I have to pay attention on the Sony actually now, and it's not the best scenario because I'm backlit, but for some reason Sony uses quite low shutter speed, and it seems that there is like the face priority exposure, which is nice. Maybe I would turn in a second, but now I have the sun to my left, so now it's a bit better. And this Sony doesn't look that bad. I thought it would be much worse, because I've seen these people ninja walking, and actually even though they were ninja walking, the footage was kinda bad. Of course my hand is getting really tired really quick because I got two cameras and Joby and the bracket, so it is quite heavy, so not very comfortable to use, but I hope that we can compare the outcome and compare the stabilization of these two, and then I would try to vlog a bit with just Sony to see how good it is. It doesn't look bad on the screen, but maybe when I see it on the computer it would be terrible. And I know that Pocket 3 is great, has great stabilization, but you can sometimes see the bobbing when you walk like that, and I'm actually kind of limping, so that might be exaggerated actually. Yeah, so that is Pocket 3 versus Sony ZV E10 Mark II. Now I have just Sony ZV E10 Mark II on a shitty Joby tripod, so it is a bit extended, so maybe it's not too tight, but I think it's too tight with this active stabilization. At least how this looks like on the screen, and it seems like I'm overexposed and there is something in the bushes. Not sure it's an animal or a person. Sun is behind my back, so the exposure is kind of weird, but I actually still wonder about the stabilization and if this frame is wide enough for vlogging. Seems so. It is Samyang 12mm f2, so I will switch in a moment. Like maybe I would go into the darker part to see how this copes with lower shutter speed, and actually it's like 1/100 now for some reason, and ISO is 30-100, so this is kind of weird. I'm shooting in the lock mode, so but it's flexible ISO, so the weird choice of ISOs. Maybe it's that dark already, but now it is 800. Strange. Anyway, moving back with just the Sony to see how the stabilization is. I'm not sure it is that great, but maybe it's really hard to judge on this screen, and I'm looking on the screen because I'm not a vlogger, so I should look into the lens, and there was a bug on the lens and I would be beaten hard by these bugs, but you know, it's for science. So now I will detach this Joby tripod and will try to vlog from my hand, either keeping the camera by the lens or by the grip. Okay, now I'm holding camera via the grip, and you can kinda use this pinching grip, which is not bad actually, but I don't know if I got some kind of the face beauty mode. Let me check. No, it's off, but my face still looks like it is somehow beautified. Maybe I'm just that beautiful, I don't know, but now I keep camera by the lens, and I think it is too tight. Maybe someone likes watching other people's faces, maybe it's okay, but I think I got it on full extension of my arm. It is not that heavy, but I guess I can keep it in my hand for a minute, and then I have to switch. And now with this grip I can see that camera is shaking more, so probably the footage won't be that stable, so I'm switching to left hand, and now I get this pinching grip, I cannot use the pinch and grip with the right hand because there is a screen. So yeah, so I wonder how this stabilization looks like, if it is any good. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I will check this on a bigger screen and see, but doesn't look bad on this small screen. But these small screens tend to lie regarding the stabilization, so it's always hard to judge. And actually this is just my B cam for the studio. We'll see. And then if I got the Sony FX6, this would be a C cam, and A7 IV would be the B cam. We'll see. But actually I'm really surprised how good this camera is in terms of the footage it produces in the studio. I don't know about this environment, so yeah, I will check it at home and see if you can actually vlog using that camera. I don't know at the moment if it is possible, but doesn't look that bad in my opinion. And since it is S-Log3, I can actually grade it however I want later. So yeah, I guess that's it, and cheers mate.